is they actually cover this in the tutorial. I'll do it better than the tutorial. This is what you gotta learn. Go to the tutorial when you get a chance. You'll want to do all of this. All this ish. Just do that. I'll admit that that shit is dry as fuck and it's not very entertaining or exciting to explain frame data. So let me explain frame data really quickly here. Okay? I'm gonna explain frame data for you with a quickness, and then you'll know how frame data works. And then, yeah, frame data is just numbers, dude. That's all it is. Every move, the game moves at 60 frames per second. So at every second of time, 60 frames of animation. Think of the frames like a flip book. Draw a picture of a dude walking, and it's like frame by frame, all right? 60 of those will pass in 1 second. That's important. So then you just break everything down into that. So every move is going to have 3 numbers you have to remember. Startup, active, recovery. That's it. Startup, how many moves or how many frames of animation till the move can hit you. Active is how many frames of animation the move can hit you. Recovery is how many frames of animation it takes to come back. So, look at just regular move, jab. Startup, active, recovery. Startup, active, recovery. Right? You can see it there in the jab. Startup, active, recovery. You can see the frame data here, right? You can see exactly what I said. Startup, active, recovery. Startup 7 frames, active for 2, recovery in 20. Now the game moves at 60 frames per second. This move starts up in 7/60ths of a second. That's how fast it is. It's a jab. It's only active for 2 frames. Meaning it can only actually hurt you for 2 frames, which is not very long. And if you whiffed it, it takes 20 frames of recovery to come back, which is about 1/4 of a second, right? 20, no. That's a 1/6 of a second, right? 6/20s, no, 3/20s is 60s. Yeah, 1/3 of a second. Sorry, my math is off. I just did medicine. But 1/3 of a second. So, like, yeah, that's a long time to whiff punish that. So that's why you don't want to just stick out buttons. But the important thing about frames is frame trapping. Okay, so if you look at like the frame data on the right hand side here, you can see where it says hit advantage 2, right? So that means when I hit you, I recover 2 frames before you. Which means if I hit you and I hit my fastest move, which is always everyone's down 1, this starts up in 7 frames, fastest move. So if I hit you and I hit my fastest move and you do your fastest move, mine will win if we hit it at the exact first frame possible, right? And so that's the frame trap, right? You think you can press, but you cannot. That's, you know, because of the frame data. The frame data says that you cannot press. I can press first, but if you do press, I get a counter hit. Now that's a frame trap on hit. You could do them on block, as we saw with our standing 1. This is block advantage 0. What's a plus on block? Okay, here we go. Standing 2 is +1 on block. So even if, you know, if you hit, you're always plus. Look, +22 on hit. But if you block it, I'm at +1. So even if you block it, I still get to act 1 frame faster than you. And where this becomes important is in jailing. Jailing. So in this game, nobody has mids worth of shit. In MK11, yeah, good ass mids. In this game, you got bad fucking mids, right? Kung Lao, his only mid is this shit, right? This is unsafe. What is this? What is back 2-4? -6 on block. Okay, that's not too bad, but it does end on a high, right? Oh, that's the wrong fucking string. This one. Oh, -13. That's death on block. And I believe it ends on a high, right? Does it end on a high? No, it ends on a mid, but it's still fucking death on block. So mids are not very good in this game. So if they're just ducking, right, all my combos and shit don't work, right? Well, that one works, right? Eventually you get to a mid, but then they just fucking micro duck stand to your ass, and then they get their combo. Now, I'll get into that in another time, but what you need to do is you need to frame trap them in a jail, right? So look, I press down 1, she's forced to stand up. If I don't press anything, she ducks under my hit. But if I down 1, bam, bitch, you gotta hold that, because down 1 is +12. That means for 12 frames, hit advantage 12. So if I hit the down 1, you have to stand there for 12 frames, which is like 1/6 of a second, and you can't do shit. You gotta hold that. You gotta block or duck or whatever. If you press a button, my next button will hit you. You can't even down poke out of that. You can't down 1 to interrupt my high. You have to hold my high. This is what I'm saying is you're jailing, dude. You're doing this shit, you're doing that, and then you're doing that again. This is stupid. No, that's just mashing. That tells me you're not confident and you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you're scared to fucking commit. You gotta commit, right? I do that and then the fucking stand button is coming out right afterwards, right? Like, I'm not even fucking around, dude. I hit this, it's combo wombo time. You fucking hold this, bitch. You get fucking launched. You get launched. That's how you get the highs. Everybody's like, oh, it's all highs, it's all highs. Yeah, because you don't know how to jail because you just mash. If you just mash, you'll never get to jail. And that's the most important frame trap in Mortal Kombat because every character does this. Right? There are a few characters that can hit confirm off of a mid. Like Reptile could do it off of his forward 2, Rico off of his forward 1, Liu Kang off forward 4, Shang Tsung off forward 4. A few characters can hit confirm off of a mid. Most characters cannot hit confirm off of a mid. You have to hit confirm off of highs. And that's dangerous because they'll mash on you. They'll down 1. Right? And if they down 1, you fucking die. Because now you're in the jail. Now you have to eat their mix-up. And this is why I'm saying you have to get your stand 2 hands strong. Because if they're doing this, if they're not doing this, and they're just approaching you with that, you blow that shit up, dog. Here, I'll show you. I'm just going to show you why you need to keep your standing 2 hands strong. Because the gap between 1 and 2 on your jab 2 string is fucking long enough to where you can micro duck and blow it up. So she's going to walk over and she's going to do 1, 2. I'm just going to micro duck it. She's going to come up, micro duck the first hit. See? Micro duck, micro duck. You got to be quick with it. You got to be quick with it. Right? That's what I'm saying. In all those situations, it doesn't matter if they're going to do a fucking grab or a jab. Even if she does a grab, set it up to be fucking random. She'll do a, no, I don't want that. I don't want a standing 4. Set this to just grab. She's going to walk up and grab. So there we go. I don't know if she's going to grab or do anything. I just know if she comes in, I'm going to go and micro duck. You know what? I'm going to set her to fucking duck. Duck, 1, 2. Okay, so that way I have a hard read. I want the hard read. Okay? Duck, grab. So there we go. That's our random. And then you just practice that shit. So I don't know if it's going to be duck and grab, duck and grab, duck and grab. She's just duck and grabbing. Whatever. All right, we got the hard read, right? So I made the hard read, right? She's going to duck and then grab. So fuck you, bam. Right? Why you do this? You know grab is coming and you do that? Fuck that. That's stupid. Grab's coming. Fuck you. Oh, hold on. She does it after the duck. Fuck you. Right? Oh, now she does the jab. Right? Now she does the jab. But yeah, you can micro duck that, right? Micro duck under. As soon as you see the jab come out, you fucking blow her ass up. Bam. See the jab come out? Oh, there's the grab. You wait for it to come out, blow it up. For it to come out, blow it up. Oh, it's too late, too late. But that's why you see me move like that, right? Because I move. This is why I say Korean backdash is better, because I'll sit there and duck under that shit, right? I'll just have the duck built in, right? As I'm moving, my duck is built in, and then I get my fucking whip punish. Because you press buttons out of position, and I'm already ducking your high. I'm already ducking as I move, and I'm ducking under the high if it's coming, and I'll just get the whip punish. So when I'm playing neutral, I'll move like this, right? That way, if she comes in, she comes at me, right? Fuck you, right? I'll come in, right? No, right? No, micro duck. Combo. What if hit advantage is minus? Then you got to block. It's not your turn anymore. If your hit advantage is minus, then your turn stops. I don't know of too many moves that are minus on hit. That's very, very rare. It does happen. Usually it's more of a spacing issue. Like, for example, this is minus on hit if you do it at close range because it's a long range move. So say, for example, let me turn this bitch off. So say you're standing 4. This is a long range move. So if I do it at the tip, good frame data. I do it up close. I'm not supposed to do this move up close. It's my long range move. Bad frame data. So now it's negative and it's punishable. You see this a lot with projectiles. I can throw this here and it doesn't fucking matter. Even if you block it, I'm safe. But if I'm up here and I throw it and you block it, I got problems. Same thing with moves on hit. Sometimes moves will be negative on hit because you are out of range for where it should be. You should have hit it further out. Moves that have really good range, that's their weakness. Is that if you do them at close range, you get punished. Because that move is a range move. You're not supposed to do it long range. How do you calculate all this in a match? I don't. One of the guys that trained me, one of my senseis, is a man named Mike Watson, who is the former national champion of Street Fighter. He was invited by Capcom as the American representative to fight in the World Championships, the Super Battle Opera, which is the actual like Capcom-sponsored tournament at the time, before Capcom Pro Tour. It was the Street Fighter World Championship, so he represented America in that. And he did not win. It's a very grueling single elimination tournament. 1 loss, you're out. 2 out of 3 rounds, you lose, you're out. Very grueling tournament. He didn't get far. He told me that you don't need to know frame data. And when he taught me the secret, I learned that I don't need to learn frame data. And I don't think anyone needs to learn frame data. And when you learn that from a guy who actually won tournaments, the guy owns an arcade and ran Wednesday Night Fights, the most like legendary local tournament in like history. Led Wednesday Night Fights. He ran that shit. The guy knows what he's talking about. And he said that, dude, you just get a feel for it. I don't need to know the frame data to do that. This is universal. Every character, if I down one, you gotta hold my jab. If you get hit with this, you have to hold that. Look, I don't even fucking time it, dog. I don't even have to fucking time it. I got all day, bro. If they eat this, jab. Jab all day. All day. You don't need to know frame data to know that. That's universal. Every character does that. So every time you do this, right into that. Look, you mistime it. Yeah, you can mistime it. But yeah, it doesn't take long to practice. And you don't need to know frame data for that. You don't need to know frame data for everything. If you know the rules of the game, then you know what's safe and what's not. Hey, if it launches and gives you a combo, 9 times out of 10, it's unsafe. So if they try to do their combo move and you block it, just jab them and you'll probably get a combo of your own. Some launchers are safe. That's what makes those characters special. Scorpion has a safe launcher. That's why he's special. He's one of the only characters that can launch you safely. Oh, but look, all his other launchers are unsafe. So you just look at like, oh, okay, this one, the knee and the uppercut are safe, so I'll just not do anything after that. I don't get a guaranteed hit, right? But everything else, and that's where the safe and unsafe is, right? So when you look at the move list, you look at your frame data, let me get something that's death on block. This dumb shit, confusion or concussion, right? Minus 15 on hit. Your fastest move is always 7 frames. Usually there are a couple characters that have 6 frame jabs, but your fastest move is usually 7 frames, and that's usually your standing jab and your crouching jab. They're usually the same speed. But your standing jab is a high and leads to combos. The crouching jab is a mid and doesn't lead to shit. So anytime somebody does something unsafe, if you do your standing jab combo, 9 times out of 10 it will hit and you just get a full combo. And you don't have to know what's safe or unsafe. You don't have to know the frame data. All you have to know is, oh, that's a combo move. That's Sub-Zero's ice. If he lands that, that's a combo move. It's probably unsafe. Any move that has a special property, a combo extender or a mix-up, any move that has a mix-up, if it's a low or an overhead and you guess it right, that's usually punishable. Now, it is going to determine how you punish and what you could punish because of spacing and hitboxes, so you have to experiment. But anytime there's a mix-up or a combo extension, that's unsafe. Press a jab, do the combo. It's probably going to punish. Let's see, all of this is confusing. So if someone hits me and they're minus, that means their turn is over. But when I'm hit, they keep hitting, I have to block. Anytime they are plus, you have to block. Anytime they are minus, you get to press. And if they are minus, you damn well better press. That's it. If they're plus, don't press. If they're minus, press. How do you know if you're plus or minus? Well, some moves are plus on block and you have to lab those. I'm sorry. But anytime you get hit, you are now at disadvantage. If they hit you with a random fucking thing, you block. That's where the grab mix-up comes in. Because I can't jail you into a grab, I have to jail you into a strike. So, in order to avoid the strike, you have to block. If you do anything other than block, I get a combo. If you block, I can grab you. If you do anything other than block, I have to strike. But if you block, I'll grab you. But if I grab you, the punishment's the same. Neutral duck, stand 2, blow it up. Not even knowing the frame data, it's just knowing the psychology. That's why I keep saying I'm very much an advocate for the psychology of fighting games. You don't need to know all this nerdy shit, dude. You don't. I know this nerdy shit because you learn it over time as you play. You just fucking figure this shit out. But to get started, you don't need to learn the nerdy shit as long as you know the rules of the game. Now, I do suggest you do the tutorial. I do agree it is boring, but that is a lot of the nerdy shit that you'll want to learn if you want to compete at the highest levels. It's not a lot, dude. I got into fighting games at a high level when I was like 12. Like I go to fucking tournaments and fucking, not really tournaments, but I would go to the arcades where I had to fight people for money. It cost me 25 cents every match. We didn't have frame data. We didn't have YouTube. The only thing we had was we could go and buy a magazine that would have the special moves. So you could learn how to do a Hadouken, but you couldn't learn shit else, dog. When combos got discovered, it fucking changed the game. If they're -3 and you're doing a move 16 frames, they could beat your poke. Look at the frame data as math. Yeah, dude, it's just adding and subtracting. If you're +7, they have to put out a move that's faster than your fastest move +7. So if I hit you with a jab, and I'm at now +7, and my jab starts up in 7, that means you have to hit a move that is like, what is it, faster, well, you gotta hit something that's like faster than +7, which is, no, you can't. You just gotta hold that. But if they're negative, then you can calculate. So if they're -5, and whatever they have is 7 frames at startup, then that means every time they're negative, at best, what is that? They can get something out in 12 frames, which means anytime they're negative, you throw out a down poke, you interrupt them, you steal a turn. If they're negative and they think you're going to wait and be passive, they'll throw down one and steal your turn, or they'll grab you. That's where the turn stealing goes, because you're negative. You're not supposed to do shit. You're supposed to block. It's my turn. I'm gonna down poke you, steal my turn, or just go for a jab and YOLO a combo. But if I'm negative and I know you're a bitch and I know you're not going to press, I'll do a string. I'll do back 2, 4, 3, whatever. Fucking string. I'm -5. And you're just going to sit there and block. I'll be like, this guy's a bitch. That's where frame data comes into play. It's like, oh, this guy's scared. He's waiting for my last hit. I'm going to grab him. You don't need to know frame data to understand staggers. But if you know frame data, then you can know, okay, after this stagger, he's -5. So if he does anything, I can interrupt him with a jab. So he has to play honest. That's why they call it honest or dishonest. When someone disrespects the frame data, it's like, oh, you're at -5 and you stuck out a jab. So that means you needed something 12 frames to beat my fastest move. You disrespected frame data, mashing in my face. You're an asshole. Fuck you. That's how that works. That's what all that means.
Hey, so if you follow YouTube enough, you know that they like to put weird stuff all over the screen for the last 30 seconds. So this is going to fill that space. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably right there and there. All over the place right now. Yeah, go ahead and click that stuff if you want. And that's 30 seconds.